All right, let's talk about Giving Tuesday. It's huge, right? One of the biggest days for fundraising. But what if I told you most of us are looking at it completely backwards? Today, we're going to flip the script. We'll show you how to turn this one-day sprint into a full-on victory lap for your entire year-end campaign. So think about it. For a lot of nonprofits, Giving Tuesday feels like the finish line, doesn't it? It's that big final push. But here's the thing. That exact mindset, it might be the very thing that's holding you back, costing you donors and real dollars right when it matters most. The secret is a really simple but kind of powerful mental switch. You've got to stop seeing Giving Tuesday as the finish line. Instead, picture this. It's the starting gun. Bang! It's the official kickoff, the moment you launch your big push and start building momentum for the most generous time of the whole year.
Okay, so let's get into it. How do we actually make this shift happen? We're going to break down why thinking of Giving Tuesday as a launch pad, not a landing pad, is really the key to unlocking a way, way stronger December. And honestly, the advantages of this are massive. I mean, you're not just asking for a one-off donation anymore. You're kicking off a real conversation. You get to ride the wave of this huge global media buzz, basically free advertising. Plus, you're collecting all this incredible data in real time about what messages are actually working. And maybe the most important part, you're building the perfect runway to turn that single gift into a long-term relationship. But look, to really make this launch work, a cool idea isn't going to be enough. Nope, you need a solid game plan, a real blueprint. And that whole plan, it starts with setting the right kind of goals. We're not talking about those vague hopes like, hey, let's raise more money. That's not a plan. We're talking about smart goals. These give your team a super clear, totally actionable definition of what success actually looks like, not just for Giving Tuesday, but for the entire rest of the year. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. Raise more money becomes raise $20,000 from 150 donors. See how specific that is? But it's not even just about hitting that one number on one day. The real magic, the real goal, is to then turn those brand new donors into recurring supporters by the end of the year. That's how you build momentum that actually lasts.
Okay, think of this as your campaign's mission control, your dashboard. You're not just staring at the big number of total dollars raised. You're tracking everything. Where are these donations coming from? How many are brand new donors versus returning ones? How are they reacting to your follow-up emails? This is the juicy data that lets you pivot and tweak your strategy in real time.
All right, so you've got your goals locked in, you know what you're tracking, now it's time to actually make some noise. A really great campaign doesn't just, shout from one place. It's more like a symphony, playing across all these different channels to meet your donors right where they are.
And the trick is using each channel for what it's best at, right? So email is perfect for those deep, compelling stories. Social media, that's where you build the buzz, the excitement. And then you've got text messages, which are amazing for cutting through all the noise with a quick, urgent call to action. When you put them all together, it creates this really powerful, totally seamless experience for your donors. And this is what it's all about. A real story. You're not just saying, we help families. No, you're telling the specific, emotional, totally unforgettable story of Maria. This is the kind of thing that connects with people, that cuts through all the marketing noise and shows your donors, hey, your gift, it did this. So you did it. You had an amazing Giving Tuesday. High fives all around. But don't pop the champagne just yet. The work is not over. Not even close. In fact, I'd say the most important part of your campaign is just getting started. I want you to really let this number sink in for a second. 30%. A full 1/3 of all annual giving happens in 1 month. December. Just December. And that is exactly why what you do after Giving Tuesday is so critical. So here's the key. You have to follow up immediately and show them the impact. Don't just send a generic thank you. Show them exactly what their generosity accomplished. That's how you build the trust you're going to need when you ask for that second, even more important year-end gift. And hey, while you're building these relationships, you've got to pay close attention to your younger donors. I'm talking about millennials and Gen Z. The data shows huge growth in giving from these groups. Why? Because they're the ones who really want that transparency, that engagement, and those powerful impact stories, which is, exactly what this whole strategy is about. So when you put it all together, the change in mindset, the smart goals, the quick follow-up, it all leads to the ultimate goal, the big prize, And that's turning a simple one-day transaction into a long-term, truly meaningful relationship with your supporters.
So let me just say it as clearly as possible. Your goal isn't just to have a successful Giving Tuesday. The goal is to use that day as a springboard to launch an incredibly successful December. When you reframe Giving Tuesday as your campaign kickoff, you're doing so much more than just raising money for today. You're building a community that will support you tomorrow. So the real question you should be asking isn't how much can we raise in 24 hours, it's how can we use these 24 hours to turn this year's donors into next year's champions.